Welcome to the Early Bird Special with your hosts, Carole Montgomery and Julia Scotty. And here's Carole Montgomery.
Hey, everybody. I think we did that right. I think we actually did this right. I'm very excited. We're here. Hello, everyone. How is everybody? Day 4,627 of the quarantine. Some interesting news. New York City did phase 1 of the opening, which was pretty much the construction workers. So it's so noisy now. It's ridiculously noisy. But we're back. So that's exciting, right? We're excited. Hopefully we will get to phase 2, because who knows? I have to say this, and I know that New York City is dependent on total tourist income, but I have to tell you, it's kind of fun to just walk in the streets of New York City and all you see are New Yorkers. I have to say it. There, I said it. Most people know I can't stand any of the tourists because they all stand across the sidewalk and look up at the sky going, "That building is really tall." So we're back to phase 1. Let's hopefully, fingers crossed, we get to phase 2. But we're holding it together. I appreciate you guys coming to see us, and we have so much to talk about and so much fun. I'm going to bring on my co-host first, but our special guest, of course, is Miss Tammy Pescatelli, who will be bringing on in a few minutes. It's funny to have Tammy and Julia together because, and we'll talk about this, is the last time, of course, we saw each other, we had taped the Today Show. So a few things have happened since then. So let me bring you to my fabulous co-host. I'm so excited about this. Let me just announce this because Julia Scotty has a documentary that's going to be in the Nantucket Film Festival. And it's premiering in June. She'll tell you all about it. I love her to death. She's my partner in crime. So let's welcome Miss Julia Scotty.
Hey, is Hoda here? Hoda's here?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Calm down.
No
Hoda.
Hoda.
No Hoda yet. Hoda's not here. But I'm drinking today. I am drinking Polar Spring.
Oh, I am punching holes with my brand new hole. Look, I could punch a hole in a complete Bible with this baby. Look at it.
Wow, maybe the Bible that Trump held up. That might be fun.
That wasn't a Bible. It was the Book of Satan.
How are you, my dear? I was saying to my husband that while you and I were doing the pre-show, you were a little funny today. You're like a little loopy.
As opposed to the other days when I suck.
Well, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Go. You were feeling
good.
No,
I'm your vessel. Fill me.
Well, to explain to the audience, so a dear friend of ours passed away last week, and Julia said, no, he was in life support last week. And I said, so we were fighting over this. Yes. But you did go to the wake. How was it going to a wake?
They had a line, it was like, I think 25 people at a time.
Okay.
And it moved pretty quickly, but it just, you wanted to spend more time with the family, with other comics that, he was a comedian. So, and it was kind of depressing, but on the flip side of that, yesterday was Anita Wise's birthday, and it had been arranged by her friends, her close friends. She's got a circular driveway. We all lined up outside of her house. She didn't know we were there. There was like about 20, 30 cars. And we each took a turn driving through the driveway. We stopped and we all sang to her. And she was it was a beautiful thing. So I needed that. My spirit needed that after the wake part, So.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
She had posted about that. That's there is still a lot of good in this world,
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
So, well, that's wonderful. Well, listen, we have so much to talk about. So let's bring on our guest, our special guest. It's not Hoda.
Yeah, but I like this one just as well.
But I love Tammy Pescatelli. She's one of the best in the business. I will say this though. I think she's gotten a little affected by all the She has a special, her way after school special, and then our special on Showtime. And I think she's gotten a little affected. You tell me when you see her, okay? Well, let's welcome Tammy. Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. That's Jackie Onassis.
Well, wait a second. Hold on. These were the other ones. These were my other choices. I don't have anything them.
The cat glasses.
I intend to ever have an old lady play Batwoman. They're looking for a new Batwoman right now.
Wow.
I happen to have, besides menopause, hot flashes, anxiety, start of alcoholism, the 15 from the quarantine, I have pink eye. So I'll show you. I mean, I'm not red anymore, but I can't put any eye makeup on. So we can go without it. I don't necessarily.
You can't really tell. No, you can't.
I'll tell you, Mom, this feels a little bit too crazy. It's like I was in the store today with a mask and the glasses and my clothes. And I'm like, this is a hillbilly debutante. That's
Well, you look beautiful anyway. You look stunning. I know.
You guys haven't been out of your house for so long.
She always looks good, though.
Good to see you guys. Oh,
I know. I know.
You decided to put this together to keep things going for everybody.
Well, I'm trying because I think the world needs to know how great we are, and we need,
and humble.
Yes, I'll be borrowing those glasses, but yeah, I mean, like I was telling the audience, we got to do the Today Show, and we were all so excited because it was such a huge thing, and it aired on Friday, and. For us in New York, the people only got to see the second half of it because Governor Cuomo was talking, and I love Governor Cuomo, but I was so pissed at him. I was like, "Can you get off? I'm on the Today Show, damn it!" So, but then of course, and then the special aired on Saturday, and then the quarantine happened. So it's kind of like we're having a little reunion because we were so excited because we were like, "Well, we're going to be touring, and we're going to do theaters, and we're going to make all this money." And now we're all pretty much sitting at home.
I didn't want to bring this up, but I just discovered I have leprosy. So it's.
Look, it's really appropriate for an apocalypse because my career had a resurgence. So it was definitely on brand, just so you know. I was with you guys. Then I flew out to Des Moines, Iowa to do shows that weekend. Our special aired on Saturday. My special aired on Tuesday. I lost 47 dates on Wednesday.
Wow.
9 of which have rescheduled. 9 out of 47. It was insane.
That's 9 more than I got.
It's insane. Well, this week I'm actually working for the first time, and guess what it is? We're doing a parking lot of Comedy at the Carlson is an amazing club in Rochester, and they own a huge parking lot. So I'm going to go out in the parking lot. They have set up a stage in big screens, and they've turned it into a drive-in. People are like, "Well, why are you doing it?" I'm like, "It's called I Can't Get Unemployment." So that's why I'm doing it.
They're doing that. We said they're doing that in Atlantic City too. I forget the name of I forget the name of the guy who's doing it, but. But
you see, to me, that I'll do. That I'll do outdoor comedy. I'll do drive-in comedy. But the Zoom, like we talked, a lot of our half of our guests have done it, and half of our guests haven't done it. The Zoom shows, I can't. I've been asked to do them, but I just can't. I just doesn't feel right. At least if I see that there's people smiling. It would make, have you done any Zoom shows, Tammy?
No. I said comedy is like sex. It's better with other people. You can do it. It's not the same. It does, for me, just like you guys, when we just released the specials, what are they seeing in the Zoom that's so much different than those specials?
Right.
So go watch the special, which, by the way, let me tell you two quick things. It was amazing to do the Today Show with you on Thursday, but on Friday at the Today Show, they had an announcement that someone in our hour that worked there had COVID. So then no one wanted to be around me. I even we were still open here, and I went to the bank and I was inside. That was when you could be inside. And I had on gloves, and I had a mask because way before everybody else had them, because I skied people. I'm Italian, so I'm excited for all this stuff. And the teller said to me, "Weren't you somewhere?" And I mean, it's like an existential question. Weren't we all somewhere, you know? And he was like, "We were at the Today Show, and that guy got sick. I don't want to." And she refused service to me.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, at least you got recognized.
What a small town I live in. So
yeah, I know, but I could have had weeping sores coming off of me. Nobody would have said anything.
Well, you know, it's funny, but I will tell you this. Jay Leno gave me about 8 weeks in. I've been fighting probably with you guys. I fight depression naturally on a regular basis. That's a natural thing for me. But I found that performing and giving to other people takes me out of self. So this has been really tough. And then in the middle of it, you know, my father is paralyzed, but my mother had a stroke, and I couldn't get it. It's like we became so, and in the middle of all of this, Jay Leno called me to tell me how great this special was.
Aww.
Oh, that was nice.
I saw that you had posted that.
He's a production company, but still.
But that's not, you know, it's important because both of you, of course, you know, just to talk about how wonderful these two women are, knocked it out of the park. The two of you, I mean, everybody on the show did.
Everybody was amazing.
You know, and so, and I'm very proud of that because I know that, first of all, I know how good you guys are, and I know that you all stepped up your game because you knew how important the show was for all of us as comics. So to hear somebody like Jay Leno say that and say the special was great, you know, obviously he's way more successful than I am, but to hear somebody who is basically the guy who was the senior in high school when I was a junior. Do you know what I mean? Like to hear that, that's really great. And when I saw that, I remember saying to my husband, I said, "That's really great. I'm glad he called you," because it's important to know, you know, like we've always said about the show, it's always to showcase us so we can always work. And Tammy is one of those people who she is a road dog. She is constantly on the road before COVID.
Yeah.
You know,
I can again, like set aside what's happened to our clubs. Like people don't understand, like when everybody was complaining about their jobs, and I had friends that were hairdressers, and I know they were hit, and even waiters and waitresses, and I know they were hit, and I'm not taking from anybody's pain, but secretly I knew that they would all go back to work.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that it was going to hit us, and as much as I kept trying to hold out hope, because anytime, besides the fact that all of the you know, not stigmas, but the rules about performing and how many people are allowed inside, comedy clubs have notoriously, in theaters, put every problem down on the comic.
Oh, yeah.
In 2008, we all took a dip in our money. I knew that all of this would affect the money of comedians. Effectively, every comic, if you were a junior, you're now a freshman.
Yep.
And there are no more freshmen. The freshmen. Right. So we all took a step back.
Yeah.
Do you you mentioned depression earlier. I find, and I'm revealing this, you know, like I've been for the last week or two, I've been really in the crapper depression. I haven't felt like this in 25, 30 years, this depressed. No, I mean, it's just, it's a very familiar feeling. It's just that it worries me.
It is. What I can tell you, and obviously I'm not even a clinician, let alone a doctor. But I will say it's natural in the past week or so to feel depressed, because there's been some things that if you weren't depressed, you would almost have something else wrong with you. Sometimes there are situations that it's a big discussion that I've been having with like my son, and it's why I started that little thing that I'd like you both to send jokes called Finding the Funny Family Style, because depression comes in lots of ways, but situational depression, which I think the whole world was in for a while, and now especially here in the States are in, or then sometimes it's chemical, which I deal with a lot of chemical, But you have to, it's natural, Julia. Now, if for some reason, a week from now or 2 weeks from now or a month from now, you're still feeling that crushing depression, that, let's talk and I'll help you take the steps to figure out what you need to do. We can get you in touch with someone.
Yeah, I think most of what it centers on is every time I sit down to write, I have these projects that I really want to work on, and yet my brain just is like, fuck this, it's not funny. No. I'll look at it.
I think, and I'm curious because I know you've said this before, Julia, and I feel the same way. I literally say to myself, I'm going to write today. Like a friend of mine, the woman who did the pictures, my friend Melanie, who did the pictures for the special, I go and stay at her place, and because she goes to the country every weekend, so it gives me a place to go, and I go and I'm like, I'm gonna write, and I schlep my laptop all the way up there, and then I sit there and I play my games and I can't get into it. So how are you feeling, Tammy? Have you been creative at all?
Well, see, I'm one who, listen, when I first started out in 94, the artist way, I opened up, I'll have to pull it if I can get up. I do have pants on, but I pulled out this old writing joke book that I brought out because it was one of my starting points. But I write with a muse. I have to live my life. Things have to happen. And just recently, now whether things have been funny and I was too depressed to see them as funny, or whether things are starting to lighten up within the house. Like the other day, my husband and I were watching Live Aid, which I just love. I love Freddie Mercury, and we were watching all of it. And Spandau Ballet came on. And my husband said, I met that guy. And I said, oh, that's cool. And he said, yeah, his name isn't Spandau Ballet. Mario Speedwagon isn't the lead singer. It's so silly. I'll never be able to tell it really as a joke.
Right.
It happened and I laughed. And I think acknowledging that I laughed was really big for me. Really.
Yeah. I'm finding it easier to laugh. I laugh at everything now. Maybe maniacally, like crazy people laugh for, at a cat walking by. But it's just like I have to do this show Saturday, and it's a in-club show, but it's being streamed, and I'm like, I just don't feel funny. It's just, what the hell is going on?
When's the last time you were on stage? Like, I'm nervous.
March.
The first time. See, yeah, I don't even know if I know my act anymore.
Right.
I got it. It's got it right here, and I'm going over it now. And I go, I don't remember any of this stuff.
I know. At the end of his life, I was blessed to spend some time with Rodney Dangerfield. And his wife used to tell him his act in an earpiece. And I was thinking to my husband, can you do that from my own special?
Well, you know what? I do think that when we do finally go back, like you're both doing, and I'd be curious to see what the reaction was when, next week, or text me, let me know. I do think the audience, first of all, let's be honest, everyone is so like crazed for comedy that I think that you'll do wonderful. And I think that they will give us a little rope where it's like, I haven't been on stage in a while. Can I look at my notes? Or, you got to hope that. I mean, you're always going to get, if you have a Friday late show, you're always going to get that fucking asshole that's, that says, you suck, but for the most part, I think, people are so starved for comedy right now that I think, I agree. I think that I feel the same way. I literally was like, I have to look at the special to see my act and go, you know what I mean?
Escapism. That's the key. Like, lots of the things I've been thinking about are more, and I'm not a political comic, but they're like a lot of the same ilk that we're all thinking about. But I realize that they need an escape. They don't want that. And quite honestly, by the way, I don't either.
Right.
I'll take that hour to get out of my own head and my own life anyway. I'm nervous because, number one, I haven't worn a heel. So I don't know if I'll be able to walk in them. Number two, I'm not sure I can. I used to be a really good road dog. I could come home. I mean, really punch it out, come back, handle my house, get back. But I've spent all this time with my family. I've never spent this amount of time with my husband. I've never gotten to spend this much time with my son. I'm not sure. My husband, I can leave. My son, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to leave him. So we'll see. I mean, not that I have a choice anyway. There's really no work. I mean, I think I have one a month through September.
I have another question for you because you're gonna be going to Rochester. So are you driving or are you flying?
I'm driving.
Okay.
It's 3 hours from my house. That's the nice part of living in Northwest PA. I'm centrally located to a lot of the gigs that I would be up for or play. So I'd fly though. We flew. I mean, think about it. We were in New York. We were flying in the middle of it. I quite honestly feel like I had COVID.
Really?
I think I had it prior.
You were the one in the studio then.
Yeah, I was the one that did it. Patient zero. I feel like.
Damn it! I was sitting next to you.
Prior to that, like it's like right after Christmas, I was really sick, but I thought it was my asthma, so I kept using my inhaler.
Right.
I just kept doping myself up with Dayquil, NyQuil, trying to get rid of it. So Have
you taken the antibody test?
No, I live in a town of 14,000 people. Where are they going to do it? Walmart? You can't. Okay. They don't. I know. I probably should.
No, because I did also around the time when we did the Today Show. I also was feeling sick and everything, and I just thought probably allergies. I did not have it. The antibody test did come back negative, but it's a good way. I don't want to take the one where the nose or they put the.
They're chipping you. That's why if you get lost, they're gonna be able to ring your chip. I think
I wouldn't be surprised that. But yeah, both me and my husband, and he had also had it where he felt like shit, and he was negative. My son, about a week or two before the everything hit, he had done a show with somebody because he's a musician,
right?
The Great American Novel. Okay, so but he had shared a mic with a singer of another band, and he didn't have it. But I told him, a lot of people got very mild symptoms, so I said to him, you need to go and get the antibody test, so you'll know. Because if he did have it, then he can feel a little more comfortable because he's a germaphobe to begin with. So,
right.
Oh yeah.
So that's what half of this is really.
Well, yeah. Where's another question? Would you share a condo at this point if you had to? I wouldn't.
No.
Yeah. Well, I don't. Who has people have condos left?
I don't know if they still have them or not. Remember the old days when they had a condo?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I do because I.
But you might run into a situation like that where somebody.
Well, yeah, probably not. I mean, that's a hard thing. Unless it was someone I knew and I was like with my opening act or something. I put in my time it's funny. This is what scares me about this. Look at us, right? That's what you call your special, women of a certain age, funny women of a certain. Although there's always an argument over what the heck that show is called. Is it funny women of a certain age, women of a certain age? But how many? I got really depressed because how many chances am I going to get? I'm 51. I got 51 since this. I mean, there's not. I just gave some of the best material that I've had in my entire career out. And there's nothing from it. Normally, you get a little blip.
Right.
So it's at this point, I don't know what to do. I really don't know. Part of me's maybe I should go back to school and figure something else out, do a second life.
But that point about burning material on a special, A, it's not entirely true. You'll be able to do it other places. But B, you're a pro. You've been at this for so long. Imagine if you were doing multiple, Tonight shows. So you'd have to keep coming up with material anyway.
Oh yeah. Oh no, I'm not worried about material as much as I'm worried about how it hit. It was usually when you dropped that kind of stuff that quickly, you get some kind of heat, and there was nothing to be had. That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, I waited 40 years for this special, and
look at that.
heart surgery and plague. Fucking plague! How could you plan plague, Papa? Can you hear me?
And pink eye.
And pink eye and plague.
And lice is back. They said
lice.
Is back.
And the cicadas are coming.
Right. So I mean, we're done. Like it's over.
Yeah, it's the end of the world. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing missing is a pharaoh.
I just want to know the date. Like, give me the idea. You know?
I'm going to move to. I've decided that we all should. There's a great comedy scene in New Zealand.
I heard that.
Yes, and I just think, I love the Prime Minister. She's, there's no, huh? A hobbit. Yes, it's a hobbit. But she, there's no COVID. They cut it like right from the start. So I really
go to Montana. They've had one. That's where we should go.
You go to New Zealand, but your first show, they're gonna all come up to you and go, Hannah Gadsby.
That's true. That's true. So listen. So we have we always do this, and we always have a question that we ask our guests.
Okay.
And it's actually very funny now because Julia will tell you, but Julia, first let's ask Tammy her favorite.
The question. Okay.
Yes.
In order to be a member of our club, you have to tell us which Cuomo you would sleep with: Mario, Andrew, or Chris.
Well, they're all Italian, so it's nice that you picked an Italian boy for me. And Chris isn't fooling anybody that he walked naked behind his wife.
I mean, he was strategically placed by the tree.
Yeah, that was not an accident, okay? So I think anybody with that level of confidence, and he really, really, really tried to pretend that he was quarantining from his basement when his kid was running around in the background. I love anybody that's going to go the next mile, so it's got to be Chris for me.
Chris for you? Okay.
It's not really.
Nobody's picked Mario,
Mario's dead. That's why.
I understand, but I mean, there was
Yeah, I prefer Andrew myself.
You're looking for the power.
Yes, I am. I'm all about the power. Fuck the money. I want the power.
I want a guy who's naked at 2:00 in the afternoon while I'm on a work call.
He has a nice hiney from what I could see.
Yeah, it was a very nice.
I think that this is the funniest thing I have ever seen because early on we were all doing stupid stuff, right? Right. Early on, there was that poor girl that went to the bathroom during the work call. That was real. Me, I was having a call like this. My son was literally in the other room, the next room, on a Zoom call with all his kids from his class. There was like 12 kids and the teacher. And someone says to me, do you know, like I said, I was talking about how I love the old school comics, Jack E. Leonard. And they were like, Dick Capri. And I was like, I love Dick.
Hey, your mom's cool.
That's hysterical. That is
so mortified.
Oh, that's funny.
Mad at me. You're yelling that out. I'm like, I was talking about a man. I wasn't.
That's just Kathy Ladman. When we had her on, her husband just kept walking by. Do you remember that, Julia?
Yeah,
And I'm like, all my husband does is he does the announcement, and then he quietly leaves because he doesn't want to be seen. I mean, it's so interesting, this whole new world of the Zoom, of figuring out. But I would have preferred if Chris had turned around. I'm going to say it. I would have liked to have seen Chris Cuomo did. I'm just going to put it out there.
I don't think it would take much to get him to show it to you.
I don't think so either. Listen, if Playgirl was still around, he'd
be there. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
What do you think?
Absolutely. So the other thing is, and we usually don't do news topics, Tammy, but this came up last week, and then and I was kind of like, really, because Julia had nailed this and had told me about it. But J.K. Rowling. How do you make it?
Douchebag. J.K. Douchebag.
Clarify exactly, because I'm very confused. How something is, you see something that it's like a topic, like for example, her thing, and you see it in a hashtag, and you see cancel, and I'm trying to read. I end up working backwards. I become like the Benjamin Button of horrible things because I can't figure out. So tell me exactly. And then something happened, and what exactly did she say? And then I'll give you my opinion on
Julia.
Okay, well, you have to have some background on this too. There's a loose group of mostly lesbians that are called Terfs, and they are, and I forget what the acronym stands for. I don't know, but you have to look it up. But what they are women who are so militantly lesbian that they refuse to acknowledge that trans people, are women, and they insist that we're men posing, and I've heard that argument before. But J.K. Rowling comes out, as did, forget him, but she comes out and says basically the same thing, that you can't change your gender.
Menstruate. That's what I know. People who menstruate, right?
I don't think it was her that said the menstruate thing. I think somebody else said that, but she basically agreed with it, and which is stupid, because there are women who never menstruated who are still women.
Right.
But there was the whole uproar. It's like, why do you have to do this? Why do you, why are you being such a?
It's so necessary, and it's like, first of all, I don't have a period. If we're talking about menstruation, right? I'm done. I'm out. I'm checked out. Right? I'm out. Yes, like that's right. Like
no more bets.
So am I not a woman anymore? I don't have a uterus. Am I not a woman anymore? Like I don't. So those kind of things are ridiculous. It's amazing to me that someone would come, even if they had those horrible thoughts, okay, which are, they don't have a filter to know that they're horrible. And that's what, like, we all think something stupid once in a while, okay? I was watching something the other day, and I saw there, let's just say that there was someone that I said, boy, I wish they would get COVID. That person should remain nameless, okay? But I didn't text it or tweet it or put it out because I know that that's horrible. I don't really wish death on people. But, it's amazing that someone would take someone else's happiness or joy or journey from them. Who can speak to anyone else's journey in this day and age? Who can speak to that?
Well, she said things like this before. But what was so cool about it was the kid who played
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter came out and just completely lambasted her for saying it, and said,
"Good for him.
Trans women are in fact women," and it's that argument. I hear it. I don't hear it as much as I used to.
What's unfortunate, and I can and let me know. I mean, I feel very delicate to speak on this because I know you, but I know that you are the foremost authority on this. But this is what upsets me. Well, I mean, out of the three of us, like.
Oh, okay.
But this is what upsets me the most out of those kind of conversations when people do that. When someone would say trans women aren't women, say that sentence alone. So, as a trans woman, you no longer even need to say trans. You just need to say woman, but you say trans to help others along the way. And that is so unfortunate because when someone tries to use what someone's strength is and something that is courageous, you don't have to say that. No one would know. If you didn't want to tell anybody, no one would know. When someone takes someone's courage and shits on it, it's stolen valor, really. And that's what pisses me off the most. When people can't recognize, that someone has done something courageous and they want to just take it to another level.
I felt this. I'm now I've now transitioned 20 years. It's been, so I'm real comfortable and I'm proud of who and what I am. I am, but I understand that people have different opinions. And I even said to Carole, and Carole, you might remember this when we were doing the special, and I said, do you think some of the cis women are going to resent my getting a slot on this special? Do you remember that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It didn't even occur to me, Julia.
And Julia, what did I say? What did I say? I said,
"Well, you tell me. You tell me."
I said, "Fuck it, you're on the show." I know that there's cis, and then there's trans, and then you're a funny woman, and that's what I wanted on my show. When you hear somebody say, well, she used to be, well, okay, I used to be a virgin.
By the way, it's not wrestling. We're not in a physical competition. We're not in any, like J.K. Rowling had no reason to say anything like that. It's amazing to me. Then on the flip side, like not to stick up for J.K. because she's done, but I was looking at some of these some of these young kids that I watched this Vanderpump Rules show.
Right.
I don't know that show, but
so 4 of them have gotten fired.
Right.
And one of the girls, literally, now one of them deserves it, but another one is just a bitch, and she's a bitch across the board, not just because the girl is like, it's the most equality thing she's ever done is be bitchy to this black girl because she included her in it. So it's like, I don't know how far. And the other kid was like 17 years old when he said something. Not that it's right, but we do grow. I just want to know when in society we're allowed to grow.
Well, why was she fired?
Well, Bravo TV took a stance across the board. They said it was racism. So because there was a girl that came on, basically this young, beautiful African-American girl came on for one season, slept with one of the main characters, and then took off the show. And then the other ones in their private lives, I guess were not kind to her. You know, they saw a picture of a woman that was wanted by the police. They felt looked like this young girl, and they called the police on her. Which listen, you make a stance, and you know.
There are, I mean, Barry Humphries, who plays Dame Edna, remember her?
Yes.
Is vehemently anti-trans, unbelievably anti-trans. You're like, what? You big old queen? How could you be, you know?
Yeah, but
like a living impersonating a woman.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like when I remember when you asked me that, and it wasn't just the women that were going to be on this. It wasn't just you guys, because the women I chose for the second special, I knew would not have a problem at all. I haven't had anybody say to me, whether it's the live show or the tape show, why did you have Julia on? And I don't understand. And it's in the same way with everything else that's going on with the protesting. I have never been a person that understands why you would take the time to go after somebody, whether it's because people are afraid of somebody who's different. Do you know what I mean?
Somehow they feel it's going, like, look, I am in show business, but I live in rural America. I live in Northwest Pennsylvania. Still in all, throughout all of this, I've never seen or heard one blatant trans, homophobic, racist. No, but you know what? Maybe they don't say it around me.
Right.
It may be. And so what I feel confident in is not that I don't believe that it's out there, because I know that it is. I'd be naive to not think. But I feel confident that I stand enough in who I am and the truth of who I am that people know not to bring it around me. Like, you know.
I didn't realize how prevalent it was until America's Got Talent. And I've told the story before. I went on YouTube the next day because I wanted to see what kind of reaction, you know. And oh my God, I had to stop looking at it because I was crying. It was what they were saying was so hurtful. It made me tougher now. Now I don't give a shit.
And there were 12-year-olds and hidden people. I fell into that trap too. Another thing, I went on reading some comments about some things and I'm fat, I'm old, I was hot 20 years ago. And I'm like, well, I actually answered that person. I was like, well, what eludes you is that I'm funnier than I've ever been. If I thought I was a model back then, your comment would make me cry. But
good answer.
By the way, somebody just wanted to let us know that they saw the special and everyone was great. Thank you, Cindy.
What do you know, Cindy?
This technology you do. This is so cool.
But you know what always makes me laugh and about what you just said about the people that say that you're old, you're fat. It's like, when they say it to me, I go, and.
I also said I'll be back with you in 20 years.
Yeah,
right. Let's. I'm doing the best I can with what I got. If I thought I was hot, I wouldn't have gotten comedy.
Exactly. But also, I mean, the name of my show is Funny Women of a Certain Age. I am 62 years old. I'm proud of the fact I'm old. I mean, and when I say that, I wish, the only thing I wish for is that I wish I had the same energy that I had when I was younger. And both of you know how I run like an Energizer bunny anyway.
Yeah.
But I wish I had the power to jump back the way we used to, like when you go out drinking and the next day you'd get up and, you remember now I have 2 glasses of wine at 8:00 and I say to my husband, I'm out. See you tomorrow. I'm going to bed.
I wish I wish I had the opportunities that I had in my late 20s and 30s in this industry. I didn't appreciate them as much. I didn't, I'm the one that got myself, I had a deal with HBO and lost that just for being, you ever hear that story? I'll tell you real quick.
No, yeah, we'd love to hear that.
Let's go, what happened? Why don't you have a bigger career? I'll tell you right here. I was really hot after Last Comic. We had 18 million viewers on that second season. And all of us were going around for meetings, and my deal with NBC, HBO wanted to buy my deal out with NBC because they were doing half-hour specials that they were developing for. And my managers at the time were these amazing guys, David Steinberg and Larry Bresner. They were more Bresner, Steinberg, and Tannenbaum. And it was myself. I had no business being in this group. They had Robin Williams, Billy Crystal, Mike Epps. They had these amazing comics. So, and Robin and Billy had just done come back with what was the show that they did for the talent?
The Live Aid thing? Oh,
like Live Aid.
Like Comic Aid, I think it was.
Comic Relief.
So the relationship between my management and HBO was amazing as well. So both Larry Bresner, God rest his soul, and David come with me, and we go to HBO. So when they both come, it's always a big deal, right? And so HBO laid out a spread, and it was the president of the network, and then all his underlings. Like, they really try to make a big show of respect for you. Sopranos was really big at that time. They were talking about a 3-episode arc, all these things. They had it all laid out before I even got there. And it was a wonderful meeting. And I don't know if they were gratuitously laughing, but, I'm killing it. Woo, everybody loves me. This is great, blah, blah, blah. And the president of the network put his hands behind his head and he put his feet up on the table. And he had on these socks that I had never seen a pattern like that. They were literally the ugliest socks I have ever seen in my entire life. And my OCD would not stop. I was obsessed with the ugliness of the socks, not paying attention to that my entire life is on the line and I could change things for everybody else. I couldn't believe those socks, that a man of his stature, I kept having this internal dialogue. And I just, how did this guy, his dress, he's probably got a Mercedes, makes all this money, he's the head of HBO, he has these ugly fucking socks. And he's sitting there with his hands up, and he crosses his leg, and we're like done, like we're on the way out. And he says, okay, so what do you need from us? Any questions? And I said, well, yeah. And then Larry and David go, well, we'll have the attorneys work it out. And I go, no, I do have a question.
Oh, no.
And they go, what? And I go, what lost to those socks? I go, those are the ugliest. What socks?
Oh, my God.
Those are the ugliest fucking socks I've ever seen. And everybody died. The whole room was just crying, tears. The assistant walked out of the room, Larry and David, but the president of the network. And actually, and we never got the deal. And the next week he got fired for smacking his girlfriend in Las Vegas. So I realized kind of it wasn't about me. It was like the standard old, I'm a man, you can't insult me kind of. If I would have known to play the game, if I'd have been a little Sofia Vergara or whatever, if I'd have been a little hotsy-totsy, I'd have probably had a lot of money and we'd have a different conversation. But me being one of the boys always has screwed me over.
Wow, that is wow.
That's wild, yeah.
But you know what, Tammy? You and I, careers, you know, because you came up a little bit behind I did. I will make you. I hope this makes you feel better. If you had gotten all of that, what would your son be like?
He'd probably be happier.
But you know what I'm saying?
Braces by now, okay.
but because I had a similar thing, not like that, but basically.
Really? Did anybody else self-destruct like that? I couldn't have.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
I can't. Let's hear it. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, no, go ahead, Carol. You go first.
No. It's similar but sideways. But very, very, very quickly, I had gone in to meet with the head of ABC casting, and I get called into the room, and he said, and when I walk in, this is what he says to me. He goes, "I have been looking for you." So you know when that happens, you're already spending the money. Do you know what I mean? Right. You're spending the money. And we had this great conversation. He said, "I want to see you live. I saw you on TV. We're casting this TV show. I think you'd be great for the lead." I said, "Call my manager, set it up at the Comedy Store." Never hear from him, right? I assume. About a month later, I get a call on my answering machine, and it's Carrie Hoffman from Stand Up New York. And he goes, "Hey, Carol, it's Carrie Hoffman. You're on this list tonight to be seen by ABC." And I was like, "Well, Carrie, I was in Los Angeles. You know, I mean, I said, I'm in LA right now." He goes, "Well, you're on this list." And that was the night that they saw Brett Butler for Grace Under Fire. So I know how you feel. I know exactly how you feel, because I remember thinking to myself, this is it. I just lost my big break. But I was literally, I want to say I was either pregnant with Lane, or I was about to have him, or he was already born. And I remember the only way I got through those first few years of that was looking at him and going, if I had become that successful, he'd be with a nanny.
Oh, yeah. And I do know. I'm a firm believer of everything happens the way it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? I certainly do. Even the stupid COVID thing.
Absolutely. I mean, and I look at Lane. I mean, you both met him. He was at the show. And, amazing. You know, I adore him. You know, I mean, I look at him and I go, he would not have been this OCD germaphobe hippie that he is if I had become a huge star. So you always have to look at the other side. Now, Julia, we have to hear yours, and then we have to wrap up.
I know. That's what I was going to say. Yeah, we could skip mine if you want. But
no. We want to hear it.
Okay, quick story. 1983. I sound like Sophia from Golden Girls. So, Sicily, 1983. Picture this. I win this contest for Showtime, funniest person in New Jersey. First year they're having the funniest person in America contest, right? Which I lost to Ellen at that point. But I was the very first winner for a state. So they booked me on what was then the Regis Philbin show. It was still local in New York. And Showtime was an unknown network at the time. So I'm all excited. It's my first television appearance. It's Regis. The Showtime people want me to plug the network. I said, okay, fine. Well, I'll give them a shirt or something. They said, can you give them a shirt? I said, oh, yeah. I said, I got a better idea. Let's fill a Showtime tote bag with all kinds of Showtime crap, and I'll just keep pulling out like hats and cups and T-shirts, all with Showtime. I'll keep holding it up to the camera. Every article is Showtime. Well, I wasn't supposed to do material. I also didn't know that I was supposed to plug a rival network on the show. So he's interviewing me, and everything's going fine. And he goes, "What's in the bag?" So I start whipping stuff out, right? And I'm thinking this is going to get big laughs, like a clown car. And I could see he's looking at me. He goes, "Let's go to commercial." And we go to commercial, and he's going berserk in the studio. We come back. He goes, "Why don't you show us some of the material that made everybody laugh?" I had nothing prepared.
Oh,
9 o'clock in the morning. I was half awake as it was, but I had nothing. And I had to go up and I sucked, majorly sucked. I never forgave him for that. But then again, I shouldn't have done what I did. So we all.
You know, back then it was so weird, those things that happened. Isn't it funny, all those things that we were all set up for? I went to laughter. I was supposed to have remember it came with a little thing on Comedy Central. And hey, Bob, I love Bob.
Hey, Bob. Oh, I know Bob. I love Bob too.
Stuff in. Do you want me still, Bob, or not? I don't know. I haven't heard anything from the Friars Club.
Bob, if you're still watching, please let Tammy know, because
I wanted to do my album there, Bob, if you want.
Yeah. So finish up what you were saying, Tammy.
And they never. It's amazing. What I will say is we've all suffered these. So I won Ladies of Laughter, which is Ladies of Lather on Wikipedia, because never pay attention to Wikipedia because it's always fake. And Ladies of Lather would be a completely different show. But it was supposed to come with a spot on Comedy Central. Remember that show that Colin hosted?
Comics Unleashed.
Yeah.
What was it called?
Comics Unleashed.
No,
not Comics Unleashed. Tough Crowd.
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what. Maybe I'm wrong, but it was a stand-up spot, comedy spotlight, comic spotlight, some kind of stuff, whatever. It never happened. But I think that each of these little things that never happened, I guess, where we are at this stage, you should hope that we didn't have to go work this hard.
Right.
But we do. And we will. We did before. We created careers. I'm not a legacy. You guys aren't legacies, meaning having anybody in show business. But we figured it out. You know what I mean? And I married into my material, so it's tax deduction.
But that's the thing. Like I remember when I did Oprah. I remember I had done the Oprah show.
Oprah? I didn't know she was out.
And I remember being in LA. I remember because she used to tape it. It wasn't live, and I remember being in LA on the treadmill, and they had the big, when the gym has the TVs.
Yeah.
So and there's a commercial, and there I am, and I'm like, this is it. This is it. The show aired. The show aired. We watched it, and after the show aired, I waited a moment. And then I walked over to my phone and I picked up the phone and went, oh, it's still working. Do you know what I mean? Like you never realize. Let me just give a couple of these because there's some really sweet things that women are saying. So I wanted to let you gals read that. That is, she's wonderful. She's from Florida. She's a comedian herself.
Thank you.
And then there's this.
Thanks, Denise. That's so sweet.
And
hi, Kathy.
Yes.
Thank you.
So anyway, we are done, ladies. Remember, you said, "Oh, it's only going to be a half an hour." We have so much fun that it's almost an hour already. So we do have to go.
Well, love you guys, and let's find a fourth and do a script from Golden Girls.
Oh my God, that's
that would be
brilliant
so good.
idea.
I would love
That's a
that.
brilliant idea.
And let's do a script from Gold because we could. It would just be a lot of fun. I mean, I don't mind playing Sophia.
I guess I'm going to be B. Arthur. I'm always B. Arthur.
I don't mind. Why don't you be Betty White?
Yeah.
I would be the one. I'd be happy to be B. Arthur.
You know who's a huge fan of Golden Girls is Leanne Lord. So I think that would be the perfect one. I will ask Leanne and let's do that. That would be so fun.
That would be a riot. Yeah. Let's do
great room.
Yeah. Huh?
She'd make a great room, McLean.
Yeah, yes, she would.
Yes.
So very quickly, I want to plug everyone's show. So Tammy, plug your special again, please.
It's a Way After School special. It's on iTunes and everywhere that you can get specials, Amazon and all that. My old special, Finding the Funny, is free on Amazon Prime. And then, of course, I'm on the one with you guys. But I'll be in Rochester all week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, one show each night, pretending that things are normal, doing a show from the parking lot. So this ought to be fun. And, we do Finding the Funny family style every Friday. It's for kids, just jokey jokes. So I'd love for you each to send me a joke. It's really helping. It's helping my son, and it's also helping a lot of other kids just laugh, because I don't want a generation that's like our grandparents that didn't know how to laugh.
Yeah, I sent you a bunch of stuff. So I've got because Tammy had to send me jokey joke because I was like, I don't think the children would like the dick jokes, Tammy.
Well, that's why.
Yeah,
I think they would actually.
Yes. So Julia, quickly tell us all about the special. We're so excited. The documentary.
Documentary is called Julia Scotty, Funny That Way, produced, directed by Susan Sandler. It has just been accepted at the Nantucket Film Festival. It will be airing the end of the month. You can go to the Nantucket Film Festival and get tickets. And of course, my album, which I don't have in front of me, Julia Scotty, Hello, boys, I'm back. You can find that anywhere. So.
And if you want to buy, anybody wants to buy a stress ball, I have stress balls for sale.
That's awesome.
I had stress balls, but I got rid of them.
Well, we will leave on that note. I love you, ladies, so much, so much. Oh, you should go ahead. Show the album cover.
I have to show the album. Where is it?
There we are. I love you, ladies.
I love you guys. We'll talk to you later. I'll be Sophia. Remember that.
Yes.
Okay.
Love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for having me.